Okay, so I should be live now. I'll just wait for more people to come join us as they respond to their notifications, and we'll start talking about exercising with EDS and POTS. So I'll just wait a moment. Hi, Susie. Hi, Bridget. How's everybody doing? Recently, I've had like a decent amount of free time, which I never have because I just finished all of my applications a few days ago to grad school, and I don't have stats in human genetics starting until the 19th, or actually I think technically the 20th, so I have a little bit of time. Hi, Tia Titanic. Hi, John Chronic Illness, Juliana, and Ricardo. How's everybody doing? Okay, so it looks like we have 28 people. So today I wanted to chat a bit about exercising with EDS and POTS. I did make a video that was like completely dedicated to this, but even since that video, which was like not long ago, I actually have been able to do some more things, which is really cool. Just because like I didn't realize I could do them, and then I was like told I could do them, and I was like awesome. So I thought that it would be good for you guys to ask questions, for me to chat with you about some of the things that I've done in the past that can be helpful, or I still do. What am I studying? So at the moment, I just applied to programs that they have like different names. So some are just called human genetics, some are called human genetics and genetic counseling, and some are called genetic counseling, but they're all master's programs. So I could become a genetic counselor, which will be awesome. And I can't wait. I'm really, really into the field. So that's what I'm studying. Hi, everybody. So today I ended up making actually a really pretty, like kind of like list. I wish I could show it to you, but it's currently on my computer. I don't know if I can attach something. Hold on one sec. Let me see if I can attach it. I probably can't attach it, but if I can, then you guys can see it with me, and you can possibly use it or like edit it to however suits your needs and your exercise routine. Hold on one sec. I'm looking to see if I can attach it. Exercises. I probably can't, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, no, I can't do it. Sad. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? So, did my EDS play a part in my career choice? Definitely. It's where I first start. Well, a lot of things definitely played a role, but I think I'm going to take off my glasses. I need them for distance, not for staring at my computer. So, definitely having EDS got me into the world of genetics and medicine, and it kind of just furthered my interest in science. And then when I started really interacting with people on YouTube and hearing all your stories, especially also hearing just like that I'm definitely not unique in my poor experiences with healthcare professionals, and just such a lack of knowledge of genetics, including EDS in the medical field, it really got me interested in pursuing something in medicine, and specifically something in genetics. So that's sort of where it all started. And then I was introduced to genetic counseling at the end of my senior, or towards the end of my senior year in college, which would have been like almost 2 years ago now. And I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, that's basically my story. Okay, so you've been looking everywhere for workouts with EDS and POTS outside of just PT. Yeah, okay. It was really hard for me to find some things that worked well for me because, I feel like a lot of things don't. And it's really random sometimes. Some of the things that don't work for me, you'd expect them to, if it's a knee exercise, but it starts hurting my hip, when it shouldn't. So it definitely took me a long time to find exercises that worked. I have a video, and I'm actually going to put it in the description of this video just after I'm done with it. It's called How to Exercise with EDS and POTS, and it's where I go through literally all of my exercises that I do. So that might be helpful to like help you figure out which exercises might work for you or to bring up to your PT. Physical therapists have played a huge role in me figuring out what exercises work, because without them, I would not have known like basically any of these. But for the most part, I'd also say cardio wise, I think like an upright bike is the best. But I will say a huge part in like me exercising really comes from the medications I take. I couldn't do it really without them. Before I started taking duloxetine for pain management, I was in so much pain when I'd exercise. Like things would just hurt randomly, which was really annoying, plus just like regular chronic pain. and it really, really came in the way. Like, my feet actually used to hurt so freaking much. That was a huge part in me, like, not wanting to exercise or me having to stop my exercises early before I planned to. And honestly, since taking duloxetine, which is Cymbalta, in case you've heard of it as that, that's really, like, how I've gotten my really excel in PT. So I'm gonna tell just, like, a little backstory. So I've probably had, I've honestly had more than 10 PTs, maybe more than 15 in my whole life. And there was this one that I was seeing, and I saw her 2 summers in a row. One before I started taking my duloxetine, and let me tell you, there were a lot of issues, like, with my legs, and I kept getting, like, hip tendinosis and stuff like that. Um, and I basically couldn't do anything. So, what did I do? I decided to start taking duloxetine, and then I came back next summer, and she even just saw the huge, huge difference. It wasn't just me. I really could tell that I was able to actually do the exercises the way that I was supposed to. Um, Your knees are so badly lately, so really interested in this one. Yeah, knees play such a huge role when it comes to exercising. I feel like everybody, like, honestly, I feel like knees are not made well. I mean, that's just my opinion. Just in general, knees are so prone to injury, right? And then if you have EDS on top of it, that makes it even harder. So, I have to do exercises that don't really put much strain on my knees. So one of the ones I do is like clam shells, and it's where, how do I explain this? You can look it up, clam shells. It's like where you lie down on your side and you bend both of your legs a bit and you bring them kind of forwards just a bit. And then you, like, have a band on, and then you, like, open your legs like this and close them. I'm doing a terrible description, but it, like, doesn't really put any strain on my knees and does not hurt my knees at all. So, I've been able to find certain exercises. I highly recommend that video that I put up that's called, like, How to Exercise with EDS and POTS, so you can get some ideas of things to try out or talk to your PT about. Um Ooh, you're majoring in biology next year, planning to be a geneticist/genetic counselor because you're EDS. Do it. Oh my goodness. Also, when I do get into grad school, I mean, like, fingers crossed, please. I will certainly vlog my experience, or if not vlog, at least talk about it a lot, because that's gonna, just be part of my channel as well. Um, you're supposed to do sit-ups for POTS, but it hurts your neck so bad because of EDS, and it's frustrating. Oh my God, let me tell you, I completely understand. Anything that requires me to, like, literally hold up my neck in any position other than this one puts strain on my neck, especially, like, on these muscles and my back. Sorry, not my back, the back of my neck. And then it, like, comes into, like, the other parts of my traps, like up here, and I start having really bad pain basically here, and even worse in the back here and up there. And sometimes the pain from back here can last days. So I don't really do sit-ups. Sometimes I feel like I can do them and it's okay, but maybe I do them like a few times a year. Like, that's how infrequently I'll do them. I may have kind of just said, who cares about my abs and the core strength, because most core exercises really require me to use my neck in ways that can be painful. The one thing that works for me, but it's painful all around, so, like, I'm not saying I recommend this, is, okay, do you know what a Bosu ball is? I think that's what it's called. If you know what a Bosu ball is, or if you don't, it's basically, one of those exercise balls. Think of it being cut in half, or more like a third, and then placed, like, on some, like, a platter. Goodness, my explanation is terrible. And it's, like, kind of like a little bit less than a half of a ball, and it's, like, squishy kind of. So I put my forearms on it, and I do a plank for literally 30 seconds. And yeah, it hurts my arms. Yeah, it hurts my shoulders. And yes, it hurts my neck. But honestly, it doesn't hurt my neck that much more than, like, doing sit-ups. And I only need to do it for like 30 seconds or 60 seconds. And I feel like I'm doing so much for my core. Like, I'll still be sore from that. So I don't know if it's actually doing much more than sit-ups, but, like, in my opinion, I'm like, oh, I'm getting the same level of core strengthening just from doing that. And it's only 30 seconds worth of pain or 60 seconds worth of pain. And then it doesn't end up really messing with my neck pain, like, afterwards, or at least not for too long. Everybody wants to do burpees, which is the best sentence for your POTS. Oh my goodness. Burpees are a huge no. Absolutely not. I don't think I could ever do burpees. I have to be completely honest. But also, I can't really put weight, like much weight on this wrist. So, like, that's part of the reason why burpees are terrible. You've been struggling with exercising with EDS and POTS. So let me tell you guys typically what I'll do each week. So just to give you kind of like just an idea. So every single week is different. And there are going to be weeks where I'm not going to exercise basically at all. And that's sometimes because I'm actually just really busy, but a lot of the times that's because of fatigue or my POTS is bothering me or I'm in a pain flare or I have a specific injury, or something's just specifically hurting me. And that's totally okay. Like your health always comes first. And exercising, a huge part of that is health, both mental and physical. So you obviously want to get the long-term benefits of exercise, but sometimes it's worth fighting through certain symptoms and other times it's not, because then you're damaging your current health way more than the benefit you'd be getting from like exercising. So basically, on a fantastic week where I'm not experiencing too bad of symptoms, I would like to exercise 4 days a week, maybe 5. And that exercise can last only 15 minutes if I want. It's not like ideal, but sometimes I'll get in a good 25-minute exercise and I'm really happy with that. So let me tell you some of the things I've been doing. So basically, every time I exercise, I do some form of cardio. So my two forms are walking on a treadmill at like 3.4 speed. It's like not really cardio, but in my opinion, it's cardio. And my heart rate goes high enough, so it counts. And I'll do that for probably 10 or 15 minutes. Or I'll ride the bike and do that for 10 minutes maybe, and that will be my cardio. And then on top of that, so sometimes that will be my only exercise and I'll do nothing else, and that's totally fine. Something else I do after that sometimes is I'll start doing my knee exercises. So I don't do my knee exercises every single day because they've gotten more difficult. Like they've, more challenging exercises, and I actually really shouldn't do them every day. So I'd say I do my exercises between 5 and 6 days a week as opposed to every single day. So I'll maybe throw in 3 knee exercises sometimes after doing the treadmill for 10 minutes or 15 minutes or doing the bike. So those knee exercises can be things like straight leg raises, where I'm just lying on my back, lifting my leg. I couldn't do that at all before my surgery. Or I could be doing some bridges where I lie down on my back, put my legs like kind of in a bent position and just kind of like raise my pelvis. I don't know how else to say this. I'll do that. So yeah, and I'll just do a few of those. And basically, if I can get in 20 minutes of exercise, I'm super happy. So that's kind of what I try to do a few times a week. There are going to be weeks, there's going to be months where that does not happen. I've been really good, like I mentioned, since getting my POTS medications and getting my duloxetine. Like duloxetine, like I can't even express to you, has allowed me to do so much more. It feels like such a privilege. This is not the way I was before at all. So I hope nobody's looking at like what I can do and feeling upset or guilty that they can't do it. I'm going to talk about some of the things that you can do lying down or in more POTS-friendly positions next. But first, I'm just going to answer some more of your questions. That video has been so helpful for you recently. Good. I'm assuming you're talking about the video where I was showing all my exercises. I'm glad to hear that that was helpful. Your PT is the one who figured out your EDS. Honestly, PTs, first of all, I've had some fantastic PTs. Like in general, I've always loved my physical therapists, but also they can sort of be somebody who can notice EDS or notice a hypermobility spectrum disorder first, because it's so funny, like the number of times I've been told I was hypermobile or have lax ligaments or was like, wow, you're so loosey-goosey. And sometimes that can be a good thing. There's not necessarily saying bad with it, but I've just been told it so many times. And given the number of injuries I've had, if one of my PTs was more informed about it, I think they would have said it, been like, hey, you should check out EDS. Or not like check it out yourself, but, mention it to a doctor potentially, because with EDS, so many of us are in and out of PT all our lives. Like literally, I don't think there's been a 3-year period where I've not been in PT. I don't know if there's been a 2-year period where I've not been in PT. I'm always in physical therapy. I've probably been in physical therapy for half of my life. Like literally, as in like, okay, probably more like a little bit over a third. Like I'm always in PT. So that's so awesome. I don't want to exercise on the bike because your feet. Yeah, what kind of things are bothering you from that? I'm just curious to hear. I know for me, the bike doesn't really hurt my feet, and I don't know if it ever really did, but it could have. I just don't really have memory of that. But I can just kind of sit down on my bike and pedal. Obviously, standing up hurts. Um, definitely hurt your feet, but for me at least, it does not bother me when I just like sit down and pedal my feet. Also, I do have orthotics. I have both like day-to-day orthotics, and then I also have basically the same orthotics, but like with the extra pad that spans the length of the foot, and I use that for exercise. So I have flat feet and they pronate. So I found it to be very helpful. Plus, I used to deal with so much foot pain that thank you, duloxetine. I don't deal with it anymore. Literally, duloxetine, my God, I can't even. It's helped me so much. I'm so sorry that I'm like sitting here just like praising duloxetine, but it really has. And it's amazing when you can find something that can, even if it doesn't turn your life around, just significantly helps in some areas or like even just a little bit because we'll take any relief, you know? I'll take 2% relief, please. Okay, next question. Getting a little behind. Sorry about that. Okay. Cardio is the hardest, and you have such weight swings that it makes other things get worse. Like I'll swing weight plus or minus 30 pounds. Oh, that totally makes sense because I guess if your joints then start getting used to a lighter weight and then you gain weight, that could potentially, I guess, like really mess with the joint. I never really thought about that. Though it's weird because I have had a doctor once, like in the height of my stomach issues, say, would I be willing to lose weight to help my joints? And I was like, no. Like, I mean, how much, like, honestly, though, like 30 pounds can totally make a difference, but like five, like, no. So, anyway, it's a little weird that a doctor said that to me once. Anybody else use the aero Pilates? I use the mini trampoline since you lie on your back and it's a lot easier. I have no idea what that is, but like it sounds awesome. So I want to look that up later. Would you recommend starting Cymbalta? I obviously like I definitely can't recommend it. I have no idea, but I just will say for me, it's been so helpful. Some of the things I've heard about it is that when you get off of it, the withdrawal is horrible. So that's something to be aware of. And this is not something I was told, and this is also not something a few other people I've spoken to have been told. But it's known to be, this isn't like, hearsay, like it really is known to have a hard withdrawal. Not for everybody, but it is known. And that's just like what I've been hearing and like what I've seen. So yeah, like that's just important to know. Definitely, if you're interested, discuss it with your doctor. Like a lot, and ask about all the side effects, ask about how hard it is to get off, make sure it works with all your meds, and definitely talk it through because starting a new medication isn't always a big deal, but starting a medication that can make you feel really crappy for like a week once you stop it, like that is not good. Someone said that med made me suicidal. Like that's so scary. I'm so sorry, Becky, that it's terrifying. So it's, like with any medication, especially maybe something like an antidepressant, I don't actually know especially, but that's a really important thing to discuss with your doctor and maybe let people in like your life know that you're starting a new medication and you might be off for a few weeks or something like that. Yeah, but I'm always, I'm for trying something that will help me. And at the time when we were choosing a medication, my doctors gave me kind of two choices. They said, do you want to start low dose naltrexone or do you want to start Cymbalta? And I don't know, I didn't know anything about low dose naltrexone, but just the idea of it scared me because I think it's like I want to say it's like an opioid antagonist or something like that, which is like the opposite of an opioid, I think. But still, it kind of scared me. And I heard that it can make you kind of depressed. And I've never been depressed. I never want to be depressed. Like my circumstance is sad enough that if I were to start dealing with depression, like I would be so depressed, I feel like. So, because I know obviously sadness and depression are drastically different. So I chose duloxetine and I'm so happy I did. How can we get PT covered by insurance? Or are you aware of any options for patient support? Valerie, I'm not sure of any options for patient support, but I'm going to look that up tomorrow, and I'm going to comment back to you. So look up for your notifications. Let me just write this down and see if I can find anything for you. So for me, after I've reached my deductible, it's covered. So like I think sometimes it just really depends on your insurance plan, but I know a lot of people you would just need a script from your doctor saying that it's a medical necessity, and then they write for how long and how often, and then you get that like right away. You can just start PT and your insurance will cover it. I wonder if there's a certain plan or if there's maybe a certain hospital that can work out a payment plan with you, because I have kind of spoken to my hospital before, like recently they called me saying it's the beginning of the year, your PT appointment's not covered anymore. So if you have a problem, do you want to discuss like a payment plan with like the billing office? And I was like, it's okay. Like I'll just do it less frequently for right now. So I don't know. I'll look into it and I will comment back to you and let you know if I can find anything about like any sort of options that could potentially help. Something that you do is swim laps in a pool. It's great for my POTS because you're not standing, and the buoyancy in the water keeps me from getting dizzy. Oh, that's so awesome. So for me, I love swimming. My one problem with it, and this maybe a lot of people with EDS will also have this, is that when I use my arms like that, or I'm kind of like bringing my neck up like this, it actually starts to put a lot of strain here. And then I start getting a lot of neck pain and back here too. So, and it can last days. Like I can really set it off and whew, it's bad. So I can do it sometimes, other times I can't. But if you don't have EDS or you just don't experience that pain, I think swimming is fantastic. I love to swim. I'm pretty good at swimming for just a regular old person. I'm not old. I meant like, just like a typical person. I don't know. I love swimming. I feel like it's like the only sport I've ever been kind of good at. Oh my God, apparently. So when I was younger, we had like a kind of a competitive swim team, at least in my opinion, but I don't know why I'm telling this story. Back in elementary school. And you also had to take swimming, like you had to do swim during school. So a few times a week, I don't really remember how often, but they were 3 levels and you had to like audition into them. So most people I think were in the medium level, and then some people were in the low level, and then some people were in the high level. The high level, I was always at the high level. I was the only kid in the highest level who couldn't make the swim team. I had fantastic form. I was a great swimmer, fantastic diver, but I was so freaking slow. So it made sense why I was on the highest, because like I looked like a good swimmer, but I was so slow, and all I wanted in my life was to get on that swim team, and I never made it. So I mean, I missed it by like half a second, something ridiculous. Like at that point, just let me in. I was literally like 9. Um, um, you also got the Z Coil Shoes, and they're awesome. You can walk again for exercise. Z Coil Shoes? I have no idea what that is. I'm looking it up. Z Coil Shoes. Let's see. Whoa, what? I'm so confused. What is that? No, that's not what you're talking about. There's no way. Oh, I see. Okay, I got you. Whoa, I have never seen that before. That looks really cool. If you look it up, guys, I'm pretty sure they're referring to these shoes that have like a spring on the bottom. That's what it looks like. So that seems really cool. How do you feel about taking the COVID-19 vaccine with EDS? Oh my God, I cannot wait to get the vaccine. I'm totally taking it, and I'm so scared of COVID right now, and I really do trust vaccines. I've never had a bad reaction, and I'm very comfortable with taking the COVID-19 vaccine. And I've like, yeah, so that's personally my opinion, and I really hope I can get it soon. I know my grandma, I spoke with her the other day, and she said that she's able to potentially get it next week, which is just such a relief, because like obviously it makes sense, you're worrying about some of the high risk people in your lives, and like my grandparents have been really like my number one worry. So it's great to hear that one of them can probably get vaccinated next week. Like it's just so amazing. And then I feel like then I could see her with more comfort. I mean, obviously we're both going to be wearing masks and we're going to be more than 6 feet apart, but it's just like, even that to me scared me, just in case, Is there a medication or anything that helps with getting really winded really easily? I mean, not a doctor. The only thing I can say is speak from my personal experience with POTS, which is the reason I get winded. So for POTS, I get very winded because my heart rate starts going really high. And so I take propranolol, and that really does help. The times I get winded against feeling really breathless are not the times when my heart rate's really high and it's supposed to be really high. So, like, if I'm exercising, I don't really get breathless. But if I'm just walking and my heart rate's like 140, 150, I'm like so breathless. I feel freaking terrible. And it's because my heart rate's not supposed to be that high and it's the POTS kicking in, you know? So, in those circumstances, yes. But if this is something that you're dealing with, I would highly recommend seeing like one of your doctors for this if you have a doctor, because I'm sure that there are medications that can help what you're going through. I've had a few doctors advise me against the COVID vaccine because of my POTS, and the other doctors say I should totally get it, definitely get it. That's so weird. I've only heard of one person whose like doctors told them not to get it, and it was because she had, I don't really know how to say it. Is it like Guillain-Barré syndrome or something like that? So I'm very surprised to hear somebody would say that because you're POTS. I would probably check with another doctor because um, it seems to be pretty widely like considered fine for most medical conditions and stuff. So I would not, I wonder why like they're advising against it. But I would definitely check in with another doctor because you wouldn't want to miss, if you're, want to get the vaccine, you don't want to not get it just because maybe like a doctor of yours was maybe misinformed or just had a different opinion. Yeah, because that's a bad circumstance to be in, especially if you want to get the vaccine. Um, Ooh, you struggle to work out your abs because you're a feeding tube, but I really want to. I've never even thought about that because I don't have a feeding tube, but I wonder, does anybody else have a feeding tube? I'm assuming, like a surgical tube, not one of the ones that goes down your nose. And potentially have any advice or other types of ab workouts you can give to Jane Doe. I don't know if that's your real name because that's what your username is. Yeah. Ooh, I can imagine that would be uncomfortable. Could also use a pregnancy-like ball, I guess. What's a pregnancy ball? I've heard of that before, but I can't think of what that is. Can you guys do planks instead of sit-ups? You have POTS, but not EDS, so not sure and asking genuinely. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, I can't do the planks where, like, my hands are down, so I have to do where my forearms are down, but it's more comfortable for me to do it on a Bosu ball. And so that when I do it like that, I can do it. You started aerobics from YouTube that doesn't have burpees for aerobic exercise for POTS. Ooh, now my elbows have been subluxing from fast arm movements. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. I hate when I like start something new and it was a huge mistake and I start really hurting myself. Oh, I hope it gets better soon. I'm sorry that new exercise did not work for you. I think I said that I was going to tell you guys some of the things I do with POTS. Didn't I say that? I feel like I said that, or something similar to that. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the stuff that I do for POTS. So I go through different phases with POTS. Sometimes it is so problematic. Other times it's really not. Right now I'm not in a problematic phase, which is amazing. So I don't really need to make too many adjustments. And I will say my POTS is very postural change dependent. So I know some people, like if they're standing, it doesn't matter how recently they began to stand, their POTS is terrible no matter what, and they can't really exercise well while standing anyway. But for me, it's really that postural change. And then anything that is like, if it's hot out or like I'm walking, like those things will set it off. But like if I've been standing, like it's actually okay for me to exercise standing, if that makes sense. I'm sure a lot of people are like, me too. And a lot of people are like, no way. So I just do things that keep my legs like kind of low. That is the worst description in the entire world. What I mean is I don't want to bend my leg. Let me get up. So Like if I'm wearing the weirdest outfit ever. This is a sports bra with a sweater. So I don't want my leg to go up like this. I want to keep it below here because when I go like this, I don't know. I just notice anything that requires this like stairs sets off my POTS. Oh my goodness. So I try not to do any exercise that requires me to do that. There are also a lot of exercises. This is what I was going to talk about, lying down. And actually, there's this woman named Zoe. What's her name? Actively Autoimmune. I think that's what it is on Instagram. And she does I think it's a weekly or something like that, bed Pilates class. She's a physical therapist from Australia, and I've always wanted to do the class, so I might sign up one time soon. I would recommend checking it out. Her name is Actively Autoimmune. Well, that's her username. Her name's Zoe. So I'm a little breathless from just standing up and doing that knee thing I said not to do. So yeah, I'd recommend checking that out. But some things that I do that are helpful for me are like lying down in bed, pointing and flexing, pointing and flexing. That's one type of exercise. Another thing I can do is sort of like lie down and bring my leg up to my chest like this, and then bring it back down. This, bring it back down. These are all things that I know work for my body. And if I'm feeling potsy, I can still do them because I'm lying down. Compression stockings in general, amazing. I actually have a compression stocking video coming out where I spent way too much money on compression stockings. And then I also got some cheap ones, and I'm going to compare between expensive versus cheap and all the brands and stuff. So that's exciting. And so that's coming out. And compression stockings are huge. I also take a salt pill usually right before I exercise, and then I take another one right after I exercise. Also, something else. Okay. I don't take my propranolol right before I exercise. Sometimes I do that, but like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and it could literally be in my head, like totally, but I don't know. It feels like weird. Like my heart feels a little bit strange when I take my propranolol, wait for it to kick in, and then immediately exercise, as opposed to waiting like an hour and a half. It feels like my heart is like resisting a beat. That's not right. That's not what happens. Surely not what happens. It just feels weird. So I don't really like to do it. I also feel sort of like, if I feel like guilty, this is not right. You shouldn't feel this way, but I feel very guilty. I'm like, my heart is supposed to be pumping quickly because I'm exercising, but I'm not letting it. Is that bad for me? Like, it's just like this weird thing I have going on in my mind where I'm like, is my blood not flowing fast enough if it's not pumping like fast? Like, I don't know. So I just feel weird about it. So I usually wait an hour and a half after taking propranolol and then I exercise. I don't know if it's just me, but I like to do that. I'm not saying you should do that. I just do that. But after an hour and a half, I still notice my propranolol totally works. I'm wondering what the half-life of propranolol is. Half-life of propranolol. I feel like it covers me for basically the entire day, even if I didn't take a second dose later on. So not like covers me, but helps me a bit. So that's pretty interesting. So yeah, I also, whenever I take it and I'm in that, I call it the prime of propranolol in my own mind. I don't say that to anybody else, in case you're wondering. Oh my gosh, you subluxed your shoulder and your wrist today. Oh, I am sorry to hear that. That does not sound comfortable. Ice, if you want to. Yeah, so it sounds like sit-ups also make your neck pain bad, totally. You're currently having joint pain and no diagnosis. You did field hockey and it killed your back, knees, ankles, and shoulders sometimes. I am trying to find exercises that don't hurt your joints too badly. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you're having undiagnosed joint pain. It totally can be hard to find exercises that, work for your joints, especially when you don't know the source of your pain. I really hope that you can see a doctor who's able to figure out what's going on, because being undiagnosed is so scary. It's like, it's just feels, it's just not a good feeling, and it's so confusing. So yeah. I think a lot of people are like chatting with each other, so I'm just reading those. So your pain is terrible. I've always loved exercising for years and staying active, but these last few years I can't do it. I haven't been diagnosed with EDS, just hypermobility and a degenerative disc, etc. I'm so sorry. And I know that, like, for me, I will say, like, exercising is not a love of mine. I do like to exercise, but like just missing something and having to not do something that you love really sucks. I know how much that hurts. Like, I kind of had to stop singing a while back. I can sing again now, but it still hurts. Like, so I'm sorry that you're going through that. I also wonder, I've always wondered this. I've never really spoken to my pain management doctor about this, but I wonder if a pain management doctor is somebody who's ever able to like give exercise suggestions or like suggestions for exercising when in pain. I don't know. Curious. I don't know if you publicly talk about this anymore, but I watched your video on medical marijuana. Oh yeah, I totally publicly talk about it. I was just wondering if you took it with POTS, meds, and did it affect your heart rate badly? Oh my God, it affected my heart so badly, so badly. So I have not taken it, I want to say, in at least a year and a half, basically. So I had my card for medical marijuana. This must have been like my going into my senior year of college. So this would have been like 3 years ago. And I was so excited, hoping it would help my pain. It didn't help my pain at all. Absolutely not. Nothing. It helped my nausea a bit, but there were three main downsides. First of all, the cost. Oh my God. Second of all, well, actually four reasons. Second of all, I hate the feeling of being high. Oh my goodness. Like, I'm so serious. It's actually kind of the same reason as the next one, which is that it makes me so anxious. Like, I will have panic attack after panic attack after panic attack after panic attack, like for literally 45 minutes. It's horrible. God, I'm never, ever, ever doing that again, ever. The first time I tried medical marijuana after I had it, I was with my mom, my best friend, and a friend of mine who also had medical marijuana, who also has EDS and POTS. So I was like in a great supportive environment, but it didn't make me high at all. And then the next time I did this, I was with Ben, and then I was so anxious. It was just so terrible. Oh, thank you so much for a super chat. Heart to you too. Thank you. You guys are so sweet. So anyway, I don't take medical marijuana anymore, especially after I had one really bad night. I don't know what happened. I always did it either through a vape or through drops underneath my tongue. And I swear, I must have accidentally not done 2 drops. I must have done like the entire dropper or something like that without realizing it, because I wasn't using a mirror, so I couldn't really see what I was doing. I was just waiting to feel like 2 drops. And I woke up maybe 2 hours later, so happening. I knew I was just having panic attack after like panic attack. It was terrible, but like I was so anxious that I was like, I need to call 911, and I need to call 911 now. So I couldn't move my arms. I am not messing with you. I was so high. I'm so sorry I'm talking about this. I couldn't move my arms. And obviously, like, in my right mind, I like wouldn't not call 911 for being anxious, like especially if I knew it was going to pass. But guys, it was so horrible. I was so out of it, and I couldn't lift my arms to grab my phone. And normally I would have screamed for my roommate, but my roommate was out sleeping at her boyfriend's house, which was like 30 minutes away. Worst night of my life. Worst night of my freaking life. Oh, my legs were like spasming, which has never happened before. So in my mind, I overdosed on it, but in reality, I'm pretty sure I overdosed for me. And I like got so anxious that, so I've not had it since. And it's been like, I'll never have it again. Terrible, horrible. But for some people, it's amazing. So sorry if I just like totally put you off of that. Like, I would say it's worth a try, because I know that it can really be like night and day for some people. When they smoke it at night or when they like use drops at night, they feel so much better. So don't take my experience as like, don't do it. Give it a try if you're able to and you want to. Let's see. Oopsie, I lost my spot, as I always do. Okay. Sorry, I have no idea where I lost my spot. I'm terrible. I'm looking for it, almost there. Okay, nope, I'm not. Okay, hold on, there we go. Nope, not there yet. Oh my goodness, I am so behind and I am so sorry. All right, I'm just have to start at some random spot because I don't know where I was. Really sorry about that. Yeah, so someone said medical marijuana, great gummies, help you sleep, drops during the day, cream for pain. Oh my God, I didn't even say this. Cream really, really helps me. Like topical CBD and topical THC even helps me so much. Like I am telling you, like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, there's a 0% chance that it's placebo. But I could be wrong. Totally could be placebo, but I can't even express to you how much it helps. So I don't know. Just really think it helps. Um, CBD works great for sleep and before walks for light exercise. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, CBD. I love CBD. Okay, you do planks as part of your PT, but you do them against the wall instead of against the ground. Oh, I love that idea. Little Sailor Moon wants to know, does anybody else have hyperadrenergic POTS? I know definitely some people on my channel do because people have commented it before. So yeah. Stairs steps are the worst for shallow knee grooves. Really? Are they? I don't know. Huh. It would make sense, especially if like you have hypermobility with it. I know I have shallow knee grooves. Okay, really weird. I was like, I've always told that I have yeah, it's basically shallow knee grooves. If it is, it's dysplasia. There we go. Like patellar groove dysplasia, something like that. Whatever it is. But then one of my doctors looked at it from like either a CT or an MRI, and at some level, it like showed that my patellar groove isn't even like flat. It's like convex. Like it's not supposed to be like that. So no wonder I have really big knee problems. Um, um, my shoulders sublux like crazy when I do some upper body exercises. And I've only just now gotten a PT who understands that. Have you had physical therapists who have you do exercises that make you sublux? I personally haven't because I don't. I know some people. It sounds like you sublux a lot. I don't sublux like a lot. So not really. There are exercises that cause me pain and have caused me tendonitis. So yes, oftentimes it's so hard to know though what's going to end up causing you issues. So sometimes it's like you just got to take that chance and then see what happens over the next few days. Do athletic compression socks work? Yes, I think so. I'm doing a video on it right now. I'm telling you, they work so well for me. They really do. You say you have nobody to talk to. Okay, crying hippie. I would totally recommend. Do you want to reach out to other people here? It sounds like you don't have a lot of friends who also deal with chronic illness. So maybe if you want to leave like your Instagram handle or something like that, if other people want to message you, you want to make some friendships, because I know how hard it can be when you don't know people who are going through the same thing. It is so hard. Okay, yeah, someone spamming something, so I blocked them a few minutes ago. It says, I don't remember what it was, but it was something really weird. He was talking about like cerebral spinal fluid tasting good or something really strange like that. So I don't know. Don't know why that person would know what cerebral spinal fluid would taste like or why it's good. That honestly is really concerning now that I'm thinking about it. I'm just gonna stop thinking about it. Okay. Um, um, you got Nike and Reebok compression socks and they're amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, maybe I should get some of those. Oh, no, I have to stop spending money on compression socks. Okay, have you guys ever worn the compression socks that go all the way up to your thighs, or like, a little bit higher than like your knees at least? Because I've really wanted to try them, or like higher than your knees by far, like that cover your thigh. I really, really want to try that. Can you explain how to know if you've subluxed something? I don't think I'm the right person to really explain this because I've clearly learned that my experience with subluxations is drastically different than some other people's experiences. For me, if you experience subluxations in the same way that I do, it would be very obvious just because of like the nature of my subluxations for the most part, except for maybe I get like a little finger subluxation. I'm like, is it subluxed? But it's so mild. But then there are some people where like you can like full on see it move out, and then other people you can't, but it's causing them pain and they don't know, and like, they don't realize it, they just know it hurts, and then they can kind of maneuver it, but there's never like a big pop or event. And I don't really experience that, but a lot of people do, and I feel like that would make it a lot harder to figure out if you're dealing with a subluxation or if something is injured in another way. So maybe if somebody has tips for that or something like that. I mean, in that circumstance, I would probably go to my doctor because, like, I don't know, I feel like it would hurt so much if it just stayed out. For me, typically something will pop. So, like, I'm going to give an example. The first time my SI joint subluxed, I stood up, and then did I sit down? I may have sat down. I just stood up. I think I sat down. Taking it back. I sat down. It was onto my bed. And this was a few years ago. And I just felt a horrible, 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 just like traumatizing pop in my lower back, like on one of my sides, let's say my right side. And it was right where my SI joint was. And for about 20 seconds, I was in excruciating pain. I was like, what just happened? And then over the next 60 seconds after that, it just slowly subsided to barely hurting. I don't know how something can hurt so badly and then suddenly just stop. Don't ask me. I have no answers. But I will say that to me is an obvious subluxation that I would personally call a mild subluxation, but a very painful subluxation. So that happened to me a bunch of times, and it has not happened until forever, honestly. It's really weird. I don't understand why it happens. It's like I go through phases with certain joints. Like my elbows for a bit were just like literally like if I would straighten them hard, like I would get like this like boom. And it hurts so bad, but my elbows hurt really bad for like 10 seconds, like so bad, and I'll like scream, like I don't mean to, and then like it goes away, and I just look so dramatic. So yeah, I don't think I have great advice because everybody I think experiences them differently. So yeah. Do I take down my live streams? So I typically leave them up for about a week and then I take them down. The reason I take them down is I kind of take them down for a bunch of reasons, but first, I don't tend to do very well after a while. And then I also like I don't want, in my opinion, I just feel like a lot of people will talk about things that maybe they don't want to stay on the internet, but they wanted my advice or they wanted to share it here. And I just don't want those comments to stay on the internet, just in case somebody didn't really think about it. And then also like I just don't really need it to like clog up like my normal videos, if that makes sense. So I usually leave them up for about a week, max 2 weeks. But I do have some older ones from like many, many months ago that I just left up and I'm probably not going to take down. Do you get mixed results from midodrine? Sometimes when I take it, it does absolutely nothing, but other times when I take the same dose, it works so well, and I can't sit down because I have bradycardia. Oh, that's so interesting. So it sounds like, so no. For me, I'm very sensitive to midodrine, like very, like just taking a very little bit brings up my blood pressure dramatically. Like I have this document, dang it, I wish I could show pictures. That's so stupid, I can't. I had my heart rate used to be, sorry, my blood pressure used to be very low. So let's say before I got diagnosed with POTS, I would say like every single day I would be getting a reading like in the 80s systolic and 50s diastolic, sometimes even lower than that, feeling terrible. Then I started taking midodrine, and basically every single reading, the top number was at least like 98 or 100, and that was on 2.5. And then I started breaking it in half, and literally same thing. My blood pressure was like always at least 90, and like my top number. And and honestly, I don't usually feel bad if my diastolic is a little bit low. It's really just I feel bad if my systolic is low. I don't know if I'm the only person who's experiencing that. I mean, if my diastolic is very low, I'm gonna feel terrible, sure, but like just a little bit low, I don't really tend to feel bad. Like if it's like 55 or something like that, I don't really feel it. Um, so, yeah, but that's very interesting. Maybe you could talk to somebody about that, or I wonder if, like, taking it in combination with another medication could be helpful, or maybe it's that, on the days where your blood pressure is actually extremely low, you don't notice it helps that much because it was going to be super low anyway, and then other times, like, it's not. I don't know. That's so interesting. It sounds kind of stressful. Um, I would definitely talk to your doctor about that if you haven't. Um Um, sorry that somebody was spamming so much, guys. I don't know why YouTube doesn't like block them. Like sometimes YouTube will block if you guys write a comment like I like water, like it will block it and then it asks me like show the comment and sometimes it just automatically deletes them. It doesn't give me the option, I'm pretty sure. So if you ever write a comment and you press return and it's not showing up, it's because YouTube is just not showing it. And then other times people will spam this and like it doesn't notice it. I don't great job, YouTube. Um, your chiro and doctor both think I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I've never heard of it, but then I started doing research and found you. I relate so much. Okay, that sounds really good that you are on a potential path for like figuring out what's going on with your body. I know how good it can feel when you figure out what's like potentially wrong and then finding somebody else who understands or is going through the same thing. It felt so good to me. The first person I think the first time I ever looked something up was gastroparesis. So gastroparesis, I mean, besides TMJD and muscle tension dysphonia, gastroparesis was my first diagnosis. And like it's so funny because I think by the time I started YouTube, my gastroparesis was like, I mean, still there, but like nothing compared to like how it was. So you guys missed that whole journey. If only I had started earlier, I could have given a lot better advice or just chatted more about what I was going through because I feel like I've blocked so much of it out of my mind for some reason. Um, so whatever. But anyway, what was I saying? I was saying, oh, so one day, and I never watched YouTube before this, like ever, unless I needed something specific. I searched gastroparesis on YouTube, and Jackie was the first one. I'm sure Chronically Jackie, you guys probably know who that was. Was one of the first videos I ever saw. Actually, was the first video I ever saw of somebody chatting about gastroparesis, and I was like, this would have been in like 2016 or 2017, like before was like really big. She wasn't small, but she was not big. And like way before I even knew that there was a chronic illness community ever, had no idea. So that was so awesome. And it was just like the best feeling ever. Terrible to see somebody else also extremely nauseous. What's wrong with me? But you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. And if not, I sound terrible. I was not happy that she was nauseous. That's not what I'm saying. Um, did I experiment with different strains? No, because I'm pretty sure New York State is just a hybrid between indica and um, sativa. I know that in Boston they legalized marijuana, but I think it was by the time they did that and they opened up a place by Ben where my boyfriend lives, I'd already had that terrible anxiety episode and I'm never trying weed again, ever. Like, I mean, if I do, I'll let you know. And if for some reason a different strain starts helping me, you guys will be the first to know. But I doubt that I will ever go near weed again. Terrible. Uh, yeah, so the New York State was a hybrid. I don't know if I just said that between indica and sativa. I think it was it was more indica than sativa though. I think it was definitely more indica than sativa, or only indica. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was indica and sativa. I'll shut up. Okay. So it's interesting. So somebody just described their subluxations in a way that does not, almost none of mine feel this way at all. For me, it feels like you can sort of feel something slipping, and then there's a sharp pain for a few seconds, and then it clicks back into place, and then a duller pain for a while after. I mean, I guess I would say maybe my shoulder, not my shoulder, my elbow ones, like kind of like are like that because it is a very sharp pain, and but I don't really feel it slipping into like it. Honestly, actually, now I'm thinking about it, my subluxation in my or what I consider a subluxation in my elbow might not, no, just kidding, it totally is because it, like, does this weird pop thing. I was gonna say maybe I'm just hyperextending it really hard, but I'm realizing that why would it, like, pop the way it does? Because I was thinking, "Nah, okay, I take it back. Definitely a subluxation." Um, "You've tried marijuana for pain. It only works when you build up your tolerance and take a ton." Oh, that's so interesting to hear. I definitely will not be building up my tolerance because I'm never trying that stuff again. I've said it enough. Um You said you're sensitive as long as it's the right strain, helps the pain, and you sleep like a baby. That's awesome. Mm. Um, Somebody says medical marijuana is the only thing that helped me gain any weight with gastroparesis, and it only really helps with pain unless it can just. Oh, and it only really helps with pain unless it can distract you a lot of the times, if that makes sense. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it can be distracting. I mean, I guess technically I was so anxious and dealing with my panic attacks that I was a bit distracted from my pain. So maybe that's how it's supposed to work. Um, yeah, that's such a good point. It really can help people eat more if like they want to, especially with gastroparesis, and then deal with the nausea afterwards. Because the one thing I'll say it helped a bit with was nausea, but it just was not worth it for me. Oh, and also I should say it makes my POTS horrible. Like so, like I will literally like fall to the ground anytime I stand up, which used to happen to me all the time, but doesn't really anymore. You sing too. I'm sorry you went through that. That's terrible, but glad you're able to sing again. I'd love to hear you sing. Oh, thank you. I actually have a few videos on my channel of me singing. Um, I can sing now, but like it still hurts. It's just like so annoying. I have muscle tension dysphonia, which is like terrible. Um, Oopsie, lost my spot. So sorry that I lose my spot all the time in this thing. It's not my fault. Oh my god, I'm so behind. I thought I was like close to the end and had answered everybody's questions, but here I am like 1,000 questions behind. Okay. Um, what does duloxetine do? Duloxetine is an SNRI, which is a serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. And it's most commonly, I believe most commonly, used as an antidepressant, and it can also help anxiety, and then it could also help neuropathic pain and just pain in general. So I take it before I go to bed. I don't have many side effects from it. If anything, I think it has it may well, hold on. The side effect I know I have is it makes me very tired, like, right before I go to bed, so I take it before I go to bed, and then I sleep like a baby, and I wake up, and I'm very tired, which is normally I'm like, "Good morning, rise and shine," and I can't wait to start the day. I go to bed excited for the morning. I'm very strange. I love the morning. I just love being awake, like, sleeping is so boring. I love I'm just just love being awake and doing things. It's, like, my favorite thing ever, so, um I don't really like to, like, sleep. I mean, I love sleeping, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just whatever. So, anyway, what I'm trying to say here is it makes me really tired when I wake up, but then once I get up, it's fine. Yeah, I think it makes me a smidgen tired throughout the day, and a little bit bubbly, like, not bubbly in personality, like, I feel like I'm in a bubble, which is not ideal, but it is what it is. I'll do anything for the pain management it gives me, honestly. Um I was told your POTS is a combo of all 3 types. Yeah, I think a lot of people, it's really a combination, or at least it's like you just can't really tell which one it is. It's like there's not an obvious category somebody fits into. I do think that's quite common, and I also think it's quite common that people just like fit into multiple categories or like they just don't know. Like, yeah. Just got back from PT and caught my first live, Izzy. Oh, cool. Just log in. Okay. Do you have any advice on exercise for me who has fibromyalgia? I wish I had good advice. I don't have fibromyalgia, so I don't really know. All I can say is like if and maybe this doesn't even apply to fibromyalgia, but like something that I have done in the past is tell myself, okay, I'm going to pick a few days where I know I have some recovery time and I'm going to try out some new exercises that may or may not hurt me in the moment, but also may or may not hurt me later on in the day. And I think maybe with fibromyalgia, like things will hurt while you're doing it, but like if you can get through that pain and it's not too bad, like it's just important to avoid pain later on. Like I'm not that knowledgeable on fibro, so I can't like give great advice, but like so try to explore different exercises and stuff on a day where you have some recovery time and see what works for you and see what doesn't, because inevitably like things are going to hurt and things are not going to be good, and there's no way you're going to know until you try. That's my advice. It might be bad advice. You also might want to check with a doctor or PT before just trying crazy exercises. Yeah, but also like please be kind to yourself, and I think that's something that like we all need to do with chronic illness. That's not our choice. We're not it's you're limited, and that's totally okay, and it's not your fault. So yeah, if I did not have EDS, if I did not have POTS, what would I be doing? I would probably still be dancing. I would probably do gymnastics just for fun, but still suck. I'd go ice skating all the time. I go for runs literally all the time. Oh, I love running. I wish I could run so badly. I would just be so active. I know I would. I think, in my opinion, I have an athletic body type. Okay, it's not body. I don't look athletic, like, but I believe that my body type is athletic, if that makes sense. And I just think that if I didn't have EDS and didn't have POTS, I would be a pretty good athlete, but I do, and so I suck and always have. Hope that makes sense. Have you ever subluxed your knee and like had to smack it back in during gym class? I've had to do it before when I was in high school, though I didn't want to know what I was doing at that point. Oh my God, no, 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 no. Nope, definitely not. Nope, that's not how my knee subluxations are. I am on the ground. I might be crying. It hurts so much. It will swell. I will not be able to walk sometimes for days. Like, okay, there's different levels of subluxations, but like I've never had to do that. And there's also, for me, what's so weird is I don't have to push it back in. It goes back on its own. The little tiny semblance of an MPFL I had left, pulled it back in, wheeled back in my patella. So I've never had to push it back in. Now, that sounds interesting because I could be wrong, but from what you're explaining, it sounds like it's not really hurting you anymore. And it just like, it pops out and push it back in and continue your day, which is interesting because I feel like some subluxations can be like that. I just know my knee, it was not like that. What other YouTubers do I follow that have your condition? Okay, first of all, I follow anybody that I see. Okay, anybody that I see who has my condition, who I see just followed me, because there's like, you can see this thing for like the people who have the most subscribers within the last 30 days show up. So and every 30 days it like kind of switches. So anybody on there who I see follows me who has a chronic illness, I'll just follow them back. Who do I have specifically that has my conditions? Okay, I follow Georgina's journey. She's my friend. I love Georgina. I follow obviously chronically Jackie. Let me actually look at my subscriptions. I'm very curious. I can't think of anybody else that I follow. I've definitely seen other people's videos, and I'm probably technically subscribed to them too. I just don't like regularly watch them. So it's so funny when I click on YouTube and it shows that I'm on live. What if I watched my live stream? What if I crashed this whole thing? Should I do it? I'm going to watch my live stream. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Oh my God, why am I doing this? I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to watch my own live stream while I'm doing it. Oh my God. I'm scared. Oh my god, why am I doing this? I'm so sorry, guys. That was weird. Okay, I took it off. Sorry, don't know why I did that. Let's forget about that. So let's go to subscriptions. I'm trying to think. I know that there's other people I follow. Okay. There's some people I follow who have EDS who you don't know have EDS, who are like kind of famous, but who have not come out about it. So I feel pretty cool that I know because they've told me. Anyway, I'll shut up and stop bragging like a little bitch. I think that's it. But like, it's definitely not. I don't know. I'll let you know if I think of anybody else who I follow. Oh, I also follow Jessica, I think Kelgren Fozard. Yeah. Though I really should watch more of her videos because honestly, the quality of her videos is like fantastic, tip top. I just, for some reason, like have not watched enough. How long do subluxations take to heal? Really variable, depending on how bad it was, which joint it was, and just who you are, like how your body is. Sometimes a subluxation will literally take a few minutes, but that's such a mild one. Like it's bothersome in the moment, but like other ones, like maybe like 5 days. Like it really depends. Like if I have a bad knee subluxation, like especially when I was younger and I first started subluxing, like I would need a crutch with me for maybe 3 days. And especially right after it happened, somebody would have to carry me back to wherever it was because I couldn't walk on it. It would just be so painful. But then like when my elbow like subluxes, like 5 minutes, so like it barely hurts after that. So it really depends. And I think it also depends, like, is it swelling? If it's swelling, it's gonna hurt. And if it's bruised, it's gonna hurt for a while. If it doesn't do that, I'm fine, like within a day. Yeah, like you have to pop your joints like 5 to 10 times a day. Okay, you said RHI. What will the MPFL surgery look like for me in the future? I have no idea what RHI means. I'm actually gonna look it up. I'm gonna look at Urban Dictionary. Let's see. No, that was definitely a typo. I have no idea what that means. Or maybe you're talking to somebody else. But totally, I think you got this. It's not fun, but I think if you're just getting an MPFL, honestly, like I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it's kind of like getting an ACL. It sucks. Like you don't want to do it, but like you can totally get through it. I think anybody can get through an MPFL reconstruction. But do certain things like make sure you get like actually I have a surgery video. It's called like tips for surgery or something like that, knee surgery. I would look that up to get some tips. And in my opinion, my knee surgery, totally worth it. And I'm already actively like working on a update video about like my whole experience. It's funny because I've been waiting to do that and then like more just keeps happening or like more problems keep showing up or it's just not healed yet. So I'm like, okay, just kidding. I was going to do it next week, but I can't do it now. Sending love from Australia. Hello. I see a specialist tomorrow to see if I have EDS. Thank you for all your information and help over the years. You're awesome. Oh my goodness. Good luck at your appointment tomorrow. You have the type of, I guess, compression stockings that go from toes to hips, and it really helps your POTS and joint relief. But for a male in the summer, it looks and feels like I'm wearing tights and I need to get over the judgment feeling. Totally. Yeah, no, that sucks. Especially if people are like thinking that it's tights and like you feel like they're judging you for that. I wish then that more people knew about that because then it's kind of like, because people see you wearing like compression, like socks that go up to your leg, like all the time, up to your knee. Nobody even takes a second look. Like everybody knows what it is. So I wish that it was more normalized than to wear it up to there because you definitely should not be feeling judged by wearing that. I personally know if I saw somebody wearing that, I'd be like, yeah, compression stockings, great, have a nice day. Like I wouldn't care. But yeah. I've had constant nausea and go issues for a while, but couldn't get down the eggs for a gastric emptying scan, but the diagnosis of gastroparesis wouldn't change your treatment. Is it worth it to try again? I mean, if you don't think it's going to change your treatment and your doctors like agree with you, then no. Like, I mean, I don't know. I can't really give you like a definitive answer. Like, don't take my advice. Like, but just in my opinion, if they are treating you as if you have gastroparesis, as in giving you medications that could help motility and that will help your nausea and help your pain and any other symptom that you're dealing with, and they will agree to try the gastroparesis like related medications just to see if they do help, in my opinion, then it doesn't really sound like it would make a difference right now. Maybe in the future to try again, but yeah, like I know that that does not sound ideal, and I know you have to keep it down. So no matter how nauseous you feel, you have to keep it down. So yeah, I don't think that there's a wrong decision, especially if you chat with your doctors and it sounds like they're willing to try gastroparesis medications. You're the heaviest I'm the heaviest I've ever been. I have so many EDS injuries. Ugh, I'm sorry. That sucks. I'm going to start with an under the desk elliptical. Ooh, I've been looking at those. That you can also put on a table to pedal with your arms. Ooh, okay. That sounds so cool. I never thought to use it with your arms. I looked into that temporarily. I was really considering getting it. But I wanna say the cheapest one I found was like 150 or $180. I could be wrong, but it just felt like I was like, honestly, at that point, I don't wanna try it in case I don't like it, and, like, I literally bought a bike that I love and have been using all since the beginning of quarantine for $310, um, and I split it with Ben, so it was, like, even cheaper, and, like, that was way more worth it for me. Let me know how that goes, though. Okay. Okay. Just reading through the comments just to see if there's anything. You eat small, multiple snacks throughout the day, and they usually add up to around 2 meals in total. Supplements to replace the extra meal usually, but check in with your doctor. Yeah, so like with gastroparesis, I know that it's like super duper important to eat small meals and eat them frequently if you can deal with them. Um, How do you tell the difference between a day where you should push through and do the scheduled PT exercises or just rest? I can never tell. I always think I should definitely push through. LOL. You definitely should not always push through at all. Can you maybe you can think of some exercises that like are, you know, easier to do on those days, or like can you um, allow yourself to do half the exercises or a fourth of them and see how you feel afterwards? Do 2 exercises and call it quits. Better than none, right? And much better than pushing through if you know you're going to feel worse afterwards. If you feel like you're not going to feel worse afterwards, then like, and you feel like you can push through, definitely do it. But like, it's not always worth it. So I would say just do a few and call it quits. Set a certain number and tell yourself, I'm not doing any more than this, and do it. Because I know like it sounds like for you, it's hard for you to make yourself stop, even though you're literally like forcing yourself into doing it, even though you feel terrible. So if you set like a commitment, like, I'm doing 3 of these exercises. I'll be done in 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm lying back down. Um, so I want to tell you something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and I've been wanting to do it so badly for like over a year, which is like start Facebook groups for people like from my channel, like who have like similar conditions or chronic illness. But like I would love opinions on this, and especially opinions in the comments, not like in the live chat, but in the comments would be more helpful. Because I'm wondering if like, I would be kind of like, what conditions should I do? But I wouldn't be moderating it because it would just be too much. So I don't know, is that bad if I'm not moderating or there's not somebody moderating it? Is it dumb? Because there's already like, I know Facebook groups that are like out there, but sometimes it's kind of hard because it's such a big Facebook group. Sometimes like there's Facebook groups that are like 30,000 people, and it's like no one's going to get to know each other. I really wish I could run like a big support group, but the problem is you can only make a support group so big, like, on Zoom or something like that. And the last thing I'd want to do is exclude somebody. And then I guess I could also do like infrequent, like, or like, I guess frequent, like, but like you can only join once, like support groups. But I feel like, what's the point of that? I don't know. I would love to really engage with some of you more. And also, I think a lot of people here don't know others who are dealing with the same thing, which, in my opinion, has been so helpful. It can be so helpful. So I just really want to like provide any method for people to get to know each other and find others who are dealing with similar things. So give me your opinions, and honestly, give me both cons too, because like I'm just really trying to think how I can best do this. My initial thought was to, and this is too much. I was like, what conditions does everybody have? Like, tell me. And then, like, if there's multiple people, I can connect you. But then I'm realizing that can be like 1,000 different ones. And I don't think I can make 1,000 Facebook groups. You know what I mean? Like, and also there's other Facebook groups. So I guess, like, if so, how many should I make? I can make EDS, POTS, gastroparesis, and then chronic illness in general. I can make other ones. I can MCAS, something like that. Like, what are your opinions on that? I just think that it can be really hard to get to know somebody and get to know others when you join a huge support group of 30,000 people, like some of the EDS groups are. You know? Does anybody have slipped rib syndrome, and did you have surgery? If anybody didn't see that, maybe you can give some advice. I don't know if I've ever had, I don't believe I've ever had slipping rib syndrome, but I did have one rib that would not stop subluxing, not like at all, for like a month. And it was horrible. Like, it just would not sit in place. It felt like somebody has stuck a pencil in me. Like, it wasn't that painful, but it was as uncomfortable as if somebody stuck a pencil in between my ribs. It was horrible. I don't think that's slipping rib syndrome, but like, I'm just saying, it sounds terrible. My physical therapist told me to build muscle to prevent subluxations and dislocations, but exercise causes them. What do I do? I think it sounds like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and I think every physical, like, it's hard to really know, but maybe it's not the best PT for you, or like maybe you could express a bit more, like, that these exercises are causing the subluxations, because it's true. It has been proven that sometimes exercise and building muscle can actually help and prevent subluxations and dislocations. But if it's causing them, like, clearly you're not doing the right exercises. Like, you should not be doing exercises that are causing those for you. And so maybe your PT doesn't know, or maybe it's just not the best PT for you. But just in case, like, you've not made it very clear to your PT, I would make it very clear about which exercises are causing those subluxations to dislocations, and like say, I need to stop doing this one. I need to find another one that works the same muscles, because I feel like there's so many exercises that actually work the same muscles that you wouldn't even know. But also sometimes building muscle like can just cause subluxations and dislocations, and maybe you're not going to find an exercise that's so great. And in that case, I mean, you can only do what you can do, And so maybe you could chat with the doctor or something like that and make sure that maybe the right course of action is to just kind of really limit the amount of exercise you do, or maybe push through the subluxations and dislocations, which in my opinion I wouldn't do. But like, I don't know what they're gonna say. But that's definitely a good conversation to have with both a PT and maybe a doctor as well. Can you make a video on how EDS affects males differently? I can barely find any info on male EDS stuff. Totally. And I'm actually so sad I never even thought about that before. I think that just really shows how little people talk about the experience of men in the EDS community, and really how it can affect them differently or less, or in other ways, just, differently in general, or just the stigma of like chronic illness while being a guy. I would love to talk about that. Thank you for that idea. So I am going to head out soon, just because I've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. Pretty impressive. My throat's kind of sore and hurts. It's fine. But I will answer a couple more questions. So I'm just going to scroll through for questions. Just scrolling through. Okay, people are talking about smart crutches. I loved smart crutches when I used them, so I would highly recommend. Um, let's see. Oh my god, after you got COVID, your heart rate went from 90 to 275 while walking once. You didn't even know that was possible? Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine how uncomfortable that must have been and scary. Wow. How are you doing now? Has it gotten any better? Um, I apologize if you've mentioned it in a comment in one of the other videos if you've said it, whether or not you've gotten better, but definitely comment here. That sounds terrible. Oh my gosh. That's like my number one fear right now. Um, has anybody put on lots of weight after going on midodrine? I personally haven't. I want to say that I lost weight when it sounds really weird, but I think I lost weight when I started taking midodrine and propranolol, which like sounds counterintuitive because it like decreases your heart rate. But like, I don't know. It's like, I mean, nothing makes sense with my weight and my body, I swear. Like at the time where I was eating the least, I was probably like 5 pounds heavier than I am now. And then like when I started getting better, I was probably 5 pounds lighter than I am now. Like it just doesn't make any sense. I have nothing to say about that. Like I don't know why, but it's like I think dealing with my dysautonomia really helped just my body function better. And you know, I think I lost maybe like 5 or 10 pounds over a few months. I could be wrong, but I think that's right. But if that's a concern that you have, I would definitely talk with your doctor about it. Or if that's something that you want, because I don't know if you want to gain weight, then definitely talk to your doctor about that too. You really want to do figure skating, but you can't because of POTS and EDS. Ugh, I want to do figure skating so badly. I mean, okay, I'm definitely not allowed to go figure skating right now. It was my goal to do it this year. Obviously, COVID, but also because I had to get that other knee surgery in August to get my screws removed. And if my knee's not perfectly better, my goal next year, I'm going to do it. I like can't do crazy stuff and definitely should not. I should probably put like a little, not a knee brace, like a knee pad, like just on it so I don't hurt it. Like I'll definitely have to talk to my PT about that, but I really would love to go just like skating around the circle. You know what I mean? Like that'd be so fun. But I'm sorry. It sounds like you probably can't do it at all then. I love skating. I wonder if, okay, you know what I would do if I couldn't at all, but I could potentially do it like this. You know, there's those like little kid like ones where you can hold on to. I wonder if there's something like that for POTS. Oh my God, what if hold on, everybody. What if there was something like, okay, you know what I'm talking about? There's like little kid, picture like a penguin made of plastic that has like skates on the bottom and it's like yay tall for like little kids and they hold on to it when they skate so they don't like fall all over the place because they don't know how to skate. What if there was something like that, but it was human size and there's one on the front and there's one on the back and then there was like not handles, but like something attaching the two. And somebody with POTS or EDS could just like put their arms on either side of it. Terrible description, so sorry. And they could skate. So at all times they have something underneath their arms holding them up. So if you faint, you're not going anywhere. If you fall, you're not going anywhere because you're not falling. You can't really hurt yourself. Like, I mean, I'm a genius. I'm gonna create that. Probably a terrible idea. Really sorry. Not a joke. I'm sorry that you can't go figure skating. Okay, you guys. Oh, Stevie Bobby. Okay, so freaking funny. So she put out a video. So I'd never heard of her before. She put out a video 1 year ago. Oh, no, sorry. Basically, it got recommended to me a video of her, I think talking about being homeless or something like that. And I watched that video and I was like, oh, interesting. Subscribe to her channel. The next day, she comes out with a video that's titled like, I'm disabled or something like that. And I was like, oh, no way. I clicked on it. Freaking EDS and POTS. You gotta be shitting me. The next day, I watched some random person's video about being homeless. The next day, she comes out having EDS and POTS. And also, what's even crazier is that I'm pretty sure before that, or maybe after that, she shared one of my videos, and I didn't even realize it till like a year later. And I didn't know why it was like spiking really high one day, and it got like, I don't know, like 20,000 views or something. I was like, wonder why. Didn't know why. It's because she shared it. But yeah, I don't know her, though. She seemed really freaking cool. So I'd love to know her. Be my friend, Stevie. Be my friend. How do you find an EDS specialist if there are none listed on the EDS website nearby? So the thing is that you definitely don't need to see an EDS specialist to be diagnosed with EDS. You literally just need to see any doctor who's up to date on the EDS criteria. That's not as simple as it sounds, obviously. I'm making it just find anybody. No, like certainly not. You have no idea. But like the thing is that somebody who's knowledgeable enough to diagnose it and treat it is not somebody that might consider themselves a specialist. One thing you could look up on like ZocDoc or Health Grades to see if there's anybody in your area that lists either Ehlers-Danlos syndrome or Marfan syndrome. Nah, forget about the Marfan syndrome. Just because I don't know. Just a lot more people know about Marfan syndrome than EDS. So like you might have people who like don't know anything about EDS who know about Marfan syndrome, but like look up Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, look up hypermobility spectrum disorders, and look for specialists in your area. If you can't find one, first of all, I would ask for a recommendation from like your, if you have like a primary and be like, hey, who do you think would know about this? But like, I don't know if this works. I've done it before. Very rarely. You can kind of call a bunch of different doctors' offices, like orthopedic doctors. Also, orthopedic doctors, like even if it's an orthopedic surgeon, like I don't know. I think that they probably know more about EDS than like most rheumatologists, even though I do think rheumatologists, it would be great if rheumatologists knew a bit more about this condition. But yeah, I'd probably say see an orthopedic doctor or just call their office and be like, can you ask the doctor if they know a lot about EDS? They might not get back to you, but if they do, that'd be fantastic. But just be annoying. Just embrace it. Honestly, I used to kind of be like, I don't want to do that. Now I'm just like, just an annoying person. Unless I'm being annoying, then I can be very annoying. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to cause trouble over here, but you got to do what you got to do. And honestly, there's actually absolutely nothing wrong with calling a doctor's office and being like, hey, I'm struggling to find a doctor who specializes or knows a lot about this. Would you by any chance speak to the doctor? I think this could be a potential option for me, and see if they feel like they're well versed in EDS. Because most of my doctors are not well versed, and I need to find somebody who knows a lot. That's what I would do. And say, can you give me? I'll give you my email. If you could call me back or email me and let me know what the doctor says, I would really appreciate it. You might not get a response, but worth a try. How do I let you know how the elliptical goes? Comment on one of my new videos that I post, and I'll see it. You know, so like within 24 hours, I will definitely read it. Whenever I post a new video, and let me know. Obviously, only if you want to, but I would love to hear how it goes. Okay, a few more questions. Your knees are subluxing during squats in aerobic ballet. Aerobic ballet. I don't know. That sounds interesting. My doctor is against getting a knee brace, but I feel I need them during certain activities. What's your stance on bracing? I think I would probably ask another doctor just to make sure another doctor agrees that given your knee anatomy, you should not use one. Because yeah, like I understand why people say stay away from bracing, because it can lead to things like atrophy. And I totally experienced that. You know, you want to be using it and you don't want your body to start relying on something else. But I think that sometimes it might be more helpful to get an opinion on somebody who's very knowledgeable on your knee. And if they are, then never mind, stick with that opinion. But I'm saying if that's like your primary care doctor and they're like, oh no, don't brace, but they didn't even look at your knee, I would probably ask somebody else, because like given my knee circumstance, it was actually really good for me to brace it. better for me to brace it than not. But if you're dealing with just knee pain, it might actually be worse for you to brace it. You know what I mean? So that's why it just sounds like you're kind of potentially dealing with the same thing I was, which is, a patella subluxing. And in my case, I was told definitely brace it when you can, definitely. As opposed to most other things with braces, they're like, yeah, don't brace, or only brace for 6 weeks and then stop, So I don't know. Maybe you could also tape. Ask somebody's opinion on tape, KT tape. I mean, it's in my opinion, my knees with sublux with such strength, I couldn't hold them in with all my might. But like I don't know how it did that, but it did. So KT taping wasn't not going to hold it in, and neither was bracing, but it did help a bit. So maybe you could try some KT tape. You forgot to tell your doctor about your prolapses because of language/translation problem. Gosh, does anyone know that if prolapses happen often with EDS? Oh no, okay. Just from like I don't know what language the doctor speaks that is difficult for you. Because I don't, obviously, why would I know that? But suggestion for like next time. I don't know, maybe other countries, I don't know where you live, but I know that you can always get a translator to help convey something in a doctor's office. So I would highly recommend that if you feel like you need it. Another thing, take notes and bring them with you. And then also, might sound a little wild, but this is just an idea I came up with now. What if, it might be ridiculous, this might not be helpful, you were to write down the things that you wanted to say in like a Word document and then copy pasted it into Google Translate into whatever language the doctor speaks that like you struggle with a little bit, and then print it out. And then if you're like you can't figure it out, just be like, here you go, read this please, and they'll get a better idea. Terrible idea? Potentially. But just thought I'd throw it out there. But also, yeah, prolapses totally are a very common thing with EDS. And I would definitely, when you can go to the doctor again, mention it if that's something you're concerned about. Okay. I'm going to scroll to the top. I think I'm going to go. Okay, just kidding. I'm going to answer 5 questions. 5 more questions, I'm done. But I'm going to answer some of the newer ones because, sorry, I kept missing them. I just got diagnosed with POTS and your family isn't supportive / not believing I have it. What is a good way of having them support or believe me? Okay, first of all, Kelsey, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's like, what a strange and upsetting position to be in, considering that you're dealing with something that's clearly hard, and then people who you love and who you're surrounded with are not believing you, and then you have to like convince them. I'm sorry. I can't imagine how hard that must be. I think that education, and see if they'd be willing to listen, or maybe like send them a video or something like that talking about POTS, send them an article and ask them to read it. Just with education, because with education they can't deny the facts, and maybe it's that they don't think that you're affected, or you can maybe tell that to them. Or I mean, I don't know, is there another friend of yours who can help advocate for you when it comes to speaking with your family? Maybe ask your family, can we have a sit down chat about this, and bring a friend who will kind of help mediate or something like that, or can help provide support through it or something like that, or just some reason. Just some ideas. I don't know if these are great. I'm not like a professional therapist or anything. If I was, I'd be like having better suggestions, but that must be really hard. I'm sorry you're going through that. And I really hope that your family takes the time to just understand what it is and understand how it can affect somebody, and then start believing that that's what you're going through. Yeah. How can you raise blood pressure? The ways that I've been told to raise my blood pressure are through midodrine, which is a medication, and increasing my salt intake. We've also discussed, fludrocortisone, some steroid or something that increases blood volume. And then I also used to get saline infusions. I was supposed to get them this winter and have somebody like come put the needle in my arm or something like that once a week or twice a month and then leave. And then I would just take it out myself. But I didn't follow through with that. And I really should have, but I didn't want to. And now I really wish I did. So whatever, but I'm not doing it right now, but maybe I will as I get hotter. I don't know. I just like, sometimes I feel a little rebellious when it comes to health stuff. Like I know that like sounds ridiculous but I'm sure other people understand what I mean. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, even though it could help me. And I don't know, but for the most part, I'm pretty good. I would say I'm a pretty good patient and I definitely like try to do everything I can, but sometimes it's really easy for me to just be like, and then not do it. Like so much work. Actually, when I mentioned about POTS to ER nurse, they rolled their eyes and said, that's the new whatever thing. That bothers me so much. I mean, I've literally had, fludrocortisone, that's what it's called. I know, but that really bothers me. One time I saw a gastroenterologist in Edinburgh who I literally freaking hated. I just needed more nausea meds and I couldn't get them from America. I hated this cardiologist. When I told him that I had like POTS, he was like, that's like a controversial like diagnosis or something like that. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to do about it? Except that was nicer. I was like, okay, no, I didn't, but thanks for letting me know. And he started telling me why. And I was like, he's like, I'm not going to tell you what my opinion on it. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I can kind of tell what your opinion is, but I'm also like I personally think I'm very kind in person. I don't usually say anything mean. So I was trying to be kind, but I got a little bit snooty, in my opinion of snooty. Like nobody else on an outsider would be like, like, no, I was nice. But I was just like, okay, I can definitely tell what your opinion is. Like, why would you say that? That also just doesn't make sense. Like, also, like, POTS has clear diagnostic criteria. Like, it just, also, like, 1 in 100 teenagers has POTS. Like, just annoying that somebody wouldn't, like, just think it's ridiculous. And what's even more ridiculous is, like, when a doctor, it's the same thing with how this guy talked to me. Like, why the hell, excuse my language, are you, like, telling me that? Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not the one who discovers it or decides whether or not it's real or decides whether or not I have it. Like, what? Like, it's literally ridiculous. I just literally, there was this, oh my God, I really want to do it, but I don't want to come across as like, I might do this later on in the year, maybe after I get into genetic counseling grad school, a video about literally this doctor on TikTok who I hate, never hated anybody, hate this guy. He is just the worst doctor I've ever seen in my entire freaking life, talking about like these terrible things about patients, about like, I'm sure you guys have probably seen him. He's terrible. He's like, I don't even know his name. He was like people coming into the ER upset that like there's nothing wrong. Like, you like mother effers. Like, he was like what? I just hated him. He needs to be kicked off TikTok. Sorry. Like, so true. He sucks. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. He sucks. So, yeah. But I also like don't want to send hate anybody's way. And I also don't want to come across as like a confrontational person who like can't handle like some mean dude on TikTok, you know? So I don't know. I'm thinking about doing it. And I'm also thinking just like, yeah, I don't know. I might do that video or I might do it later on. If I don't do it now, I'll probably do it in May. So anyway, I'm going to head out now. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this, almost said podcast, but it's a live stream. Wow, my throat hurts. Wow, this was long. I hope you guys all have a fantastic night and a happy new year. I never even said it. Mwah. Love you guys.